What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show. The best place for everything fantasy football. Every episode gets you one step closer to the goal of winning your fantasy football championship. From rankings, breakouts, sleepers, best ball drafts, DFS plays. If winning is your objective, this is the place to be. Let's piece the puzzle together and get you that trophy. Here's your host, Sleezball, right here on My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Welcome in on this beautiful Sunday morning. This is episode 9, wide receiver values to target and not target. These are going to be 10 players that I truly believe you can find better value at to win your fantasy football championship. And I can only lay out the groundwork for you guys. The rest is up to you. Let's dive into it. The first wide receiver I want to talk about here is DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears, currently at ADP 41, coming off the board middle of the 4th round. Last season was wide receiver 6 overall, 96 receptions, 1,364 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He's also been an absolute model of consistency with health, playing 17 straight games, 3 seasons in a row, which is phenomenal. But last season, he brought in 28.9% target share, which is top 10 in the NFL. Now, the Chicago Bears have a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, one of the worst offensive lines in football, and they bring in Keenan Allen from the LA Chargers. Keenan Allen last season was number 3 in target share at 32%. And what happens with a bad offensive line and a rookie quarterback that we all know loves to target tight ends? They're going to look for the quick route. Yes, of course, DJ Moore will have a couple spike week where he hits a bomb. I'm positive of that. But at his current value right now, when I look at the ADP chart and I want to win my league, I'm not looking for a wide receiver stuck in a trio, right? This is where I'm going to be looking to target DK Metcalf. You could say he's in a trio as well, but his red zone looks and his size, and Ben Grubb being the new offensive coordinator in Seattle, they're already talking about unlocking a new level of DK, using him all over the field. I would rather target DK Metcalf or Cooper Kupp in this area. And Cooper Kupp at 100% healthy, which I'll get to in videos later, is one of my absolute favorite targets to take here. And I honestly, truly believe that DJ Moore is about a round early on ADP and a player that you should be avoiding at this spot in your draft because there's better value to be had. The second wide receiver you should be avoiding at ADP is Nico Collins, and he is currently going off the board at 28, which is about early 3rd. Sometimes I even see him go late 2nd because people are so enamored with CJ Stroud and all the weapons he has around him. But that is how I look at it as a problem. So last season, he was wide receiver 9, top 10 wide receiver, amazing. 80 receptions, 1,279 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was targeted 109 times, target share 22.7%, right? Now you bring in Stephon Diggs, the old wily veteran, who last season alone by himself had 160 targets and was top 10 in target share at 29.5%. And even if you go back and look at Nico Collins and Tank Dell when they were both on the field, Tank Dell was more productive than Nico Collins. So I'm very, very confused in the moment here of if it's either CJ Stroud and the Texans hype or why this guy is going so high in drafts when you have a guy that already produced better than him last year when they were on the field. And now you add Stephon Diggs, who is a target monster, route running machine, going to see so much volume. I do not even see him getting close to 100 targets this season. I'd say around the 80 to 90 range. And when the ADP is there and I'm looking at Nico Collins and I see Drake London, who has a Kirk Cousins, and he's the only wide receiver out there. Yeah, Kyle Pitts will see some targets. Yeah, Bijan at the backfield will see some targets. But so will Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is a great pass-catching back as well. The Texans' offensive line is shambles. They spent so much money offensively that their offensive line is going to struggle. Deep balls for Nico to get open that long is going to be a lot different this season. And if you have a chance to get absolute better value, I would even say that Deebo Samuel, we don't know the Ayuk situation, but Deebo changed his jersey to 1. He's ready to rock this season. And I am staying away from Nico Collins at ADP right here all day, and you should be too. The third player you should be avoiding at ADP value, and this one is mind-blowing, is Zay Flowers. Current ADP 53, going off the board early in the 5th round. Last season was wide receiver 30, 77 receptions, 858 yards, only 5 touchdowns. He's never a red zone threat. He's not a big body. You know this. And this all happened last season. All these numbers are inflated without Mark Andrews. And if you want to go back and look at Mark Andrews' last healthy season, which he is healthy coming into this year, he was number 1 in the NFL at target share at 29% in 2022 when he was fully healthy. There is no way that Zay Flowers is going to carry his 24% target share from last season into this season. And they have Rashad Bateman hype going on, which I never buy into. They draft Devontae Walker. So obviously they're looking to get wide receiver help around a big body, something to go there. And the number 1 key factor here is King Henry. They bring in Derrick Henry. This is going to be a ground and pound RPO with Lamar Jackson. And if you look back, DeAndre Hopkins years, yeah, they were great because DeAndre Hopkins is an elite Hall of Fame wide receiver. Every other season that Derrick Henry is there and say the quarterback play is bad or DeAndre Hopkins is hurt, it's all Henry. This is going to be such a massive workload for the run game. I don't see the passing volume for Zay Flowers being here at all this season. Yeah, he'll get a couple quick gadget plays, a couple deep bombs, of course. Lamar Jackson, the RPO, they'll be trying to stop the run, so the opportunity will be there. I just don't like the value. And around him, the value that I'd rather have 100%, give me Amari Cooper, give me George Pickens. Give me George Pickens as the true alpha wide receiver 1 with Najee and Warren there, or give me Amari Cooper with the true alpha wide receiver 1 with Deshaun Watson back healthy. These are better values that are going to help you win your league instead of Zay Flowers, I promise you. 4th wide receiver you should be avoiding at value is Calvin Ridley, who is now headed to the Tennessee Titans, currently going off the board at ADP 77, about early round 7. Finished last season wide receiver 17, which is impressive for his first season back. 76 receptions, 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns. But last season, you have to remember, on the Jaguars, he was the alpha wide receiver 1 in targets. 136 targets, top 15 in the NFL. Target share, 22.6%, top 30 wide receiver target share. Now you're headed to the Titans, who I do love the new look Titans here because, like I said, with the previous player, with Zay Flowers, that Derrick Henry is over there. That means Derrick Henry is gone from the Titans. You are going to see a different pass attack 100%. But do we really believe that Calvin Ridley is the wide receiver 1? For me, I do not. It is still DeAndre Hopkins, who still sees top 15 target share. He sees top 12 target share percentage at 28.6%. This guy is still the alpha, no matter what. He was number 2 in air yards in the NFL last year as well. And you throw in Tyler Boyd, who as the wide receiver 3, Treylon Burks gets bumped down. I feel bad for Treylon. But you've seen Tyler Boyd excel too. When you see T. Higgins go down, you see Jamar Chase go down. Tyler Boyd is a great complement to the wide receiver group as well. And now they bring in Tony Pollard to go along with Tyjae Spears, who are also 2 great pass-catching backs. Do we really believe that the value of receptions and touchdowns are going to be there with the Tennessee Titans this season? For me, I do not. And around his ADP, give me the players that are going to produce more, like a Jaden Reed or a Chris Godwin, 100%. You could possibly even throw in, I wouldn't say Christian Kirk, but it's going to be close. But these guys are better value to me, and this is how you're going to win in this area if you're targeting wide receivers in this round. The 5th wide receiver you should be avoiding in your drafts to me is Christian Watson, the boom or bust, high risk, high reward wide receiver. Currently going off the board at ADP 98, so that graphic's wrong. It shows 77. I messed that up. But last season finishing wide receiver 65, 28 receptions, 422 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, he always is the red zone guy. If you look at his receptions and his touchdowns over the past 2 years, you'll see that. But the key factor, he's missed 10 games in his first 2 seasons. The hamstrings supposedly are getting better, just like last season. The hamstrings are supposedly getting better. It is a major injury tear to the hamstring muscle, and it's huge risk. But if you look at it, say like last year, right? Now you get him 2 rounds cheaper. Are we willing to take that value still with Jaden Reed emerging, with Dontavian Wicks emerging last season? And these guys and you have Romeo Doubs, who also led the Packers in red zone targets. So you have 4 mouths to feed. You add Josh Jacobs, who to me is way better than Aaron Jones, who's always an injured hazard, even though he popped off late in the season last year. I know that. But even if you look at this, so let me show you this. 17.6% target share when he was out on the field healthy. If you heard any of the wide receivers that I told you to avoid before, their target share was already better than his. So I don't understand why people, I know the athleticism upside gets people excited, but these are the mistakes that are made. Now, if I look at Jaden Reed and I go to he's at 18%. If I look at Dontavian Wicks in his small sample size, he's at 17%. Romeo Doubs, 19%. It is such a jam-packed room that at this spot in the draft, the value you can get here, this is where you make the move that's going to win your championship instead of other people, and go get Deontay Johnson, who's going to be the alpha one in a phenomenally better Carolina Panthers system with Dave Canales already pumping him as their main focal point. Or you go for the rookie Lab McConkey out of the LA Chargers, who's going to be playing the Keenan Allen role in the slot. The volume, these wide receivers are going to be more than Christian Watson just for the upside. I get it if you're playing best ball or something. Yeah, okay, Christian Watson's fine. He'll hit a couple home runs. He'll be a night, even if he's out there playing. This is a guy that I am avoiding. There's a lot of content creators and people in fantasy football that are going to say they love Christian Watson this season. I am telling you right now, avoid, avoid, avoid. The sixth wide receiver I want to talk about is the electric Jameson Williams and why you should avoid him at his current ADP at 115 right now. Finished last year, wide receiver 81, had his suspension, only played limited time, 42 receptions, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now this, to me, the camp hype that is happening right now, the Jameson Williams looks explosive. He's going to be a breakout player. Yeah, do I like him as a breakout player for best ball? Yes. Do I like him at all for redraft? No. I think this is a massive rookie mistake that fantasy players make right here, is thinking that hype camp updates or beat writer reports or whatever it is going to be why you should draft Jameson Williams. So you have to look at it like this. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown finished as wide receiver 3 with a target share of 30%. Do we think that's going to change? God, no. Sam Laporta finishes at tight end 1 with 21.1% target share. Both these guys are top 6 in the NFL at target share. Why do we think at any point in time that Jameson Williams as a breakout candidate is going to see anything near 15 to 17%? That volume to me at this spot in the draft is absolutely worthless. I do not want to take it. Like I said, if you're a best ball player, yes, I have a ton of Jameson Williams in best ball. I like the home run capability. But if I'm looking for better players that are going to see more volume around him in the draft, give me Curtis Samuel. Give me Cortland Sutton all day. Cortland Sutton is so undervalued. He's the only wide receiver the Broncos have. And Curtis Samuel, back with his old OC, is going to be a nightmare out of the slot. Way more volume than Jameson Williams. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Stay away from Jameson Williams and redraft this season. The seventh wide receiver that you absolutely have to stay away from at ADP value in redrafts, and this one pains me a ton, is Malik Nabers. And Malik Nabers is such an electric college talent. It's just the landing spot that kills me. Danny Dimes as your quarterback. This guy has never had over a 68% completion season in his career. And people will look at 2022 and say, oh, he was QB9. Yeah, he barely passed for 3,000 yards. He rushed for 700 yards that season. That is your fantasy miscue that people are going to be missing this season. Yes, is Malik Nabers going to be the alpha wide receiver 1 there? 100%. Is he going to be targeted, peppered a ton? 100%. My problem is, how many of those targets are going to be catchable on target? You also have a very bad Giants offensive line. The tight end blocking there is going to be really bad as well. I mean, Bellinger, you could say Theo Johnson, he's more of a pass catching tight end. I mean, I have him right now in my rankings at wide receiver 22, and he's currently going off the board at ADP 49, which is absolutely bonkers to me. So if you're looking at the area around him, right, you're going to be looking at players like Devonta Smith in a high-paced offense with Kellen Moore at the Eagles. You should be looking at players like Cooper Kupp, like I said earlier. You should be looking at players like Amari Cooper, George Pickens, true alpha that are going to see targets from good quarterback play as well. Now, I mean, it's so tough for me because I love his talent so much here I just think he's around early and you could find better value at the time. I think he should be like a round 6 wide receiver. I mean, he was electric at LSU. Jaden Daniels, they were flying around. It was unbelievable. Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, God, he's so good, but this one just pains me a ton because I want to draft him. And if it's dynasty, I definitely want him, right? He's, 21 years old, 20 years old. But in redraft, there's just better value to be had in his area. Wide receiver number 7 that you should be avoiding at ADP cost, and this one pains me a ton, is Malik Ngata, the electric rookie superstar out of LSU. At LSU, he had 89 receptions, 1,569 yards, 14 touchdowns, looked unbelievable with Jaden Daniels. When you're looking at my overall finish right there, that is my prediction that I think he's going to finish as wide receiver 22, and here's the reasons why. Danny Dimes, right? And people are going to look back at 2022 and say, he was quarterback 9. Yeah, he was quarterback 9 because he rushed for 708 yards. He barely threw for 3,000 yards that season. He's never had a season in his career where he has over 68% completion percentage. And if you've been watching these camp videos already, he can miss a running back from 5 yards. He can miss a wide open wide receiver down the side. And this isn't even like full pad go. I mean, this is just bad quarterback play. The landing spot for Malik Ngata hurt my heart so much this season because I love him as a talent. Do I think he's going to see 150 targets? Possibly, right? But you got to think how many of those targets are going to be on percentage, right? So if you take his 67% career completion percentage and try and tie that in, you're probably looking at 80 to 90 targets that are catchable. Yeah, he'll be electric. He'll make a jump ball play on a bad throw, something, highlight reel. For sure he's going to do that. He's an amazing wide receiver. I just don't like the value that you can see at his ADP in the 4th round, which is way too high to me. Like I said, when there's players like Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, all these guys around him are true alphas with way better quarterback play that is going to help them surpass him in points on the season. It just pains me that Malik Ngata is stuck with Danny Dimes, and it drives me nuts. But I'm avoiding him at all costs, and you should be as well. Wide receiver number 8 that I am avoiding. I don't even care if it's ADP cost. I want zero ownership of this man. Best ball, maybe. I'll take a couple flyers here and there, but redraft dynasty, get me away from Mike Williams at every single cost. He's going off the board at ADP 136 right now. Wide receiver 113 last season, 19 receptions, 249 yards, 1 touchdown. Why? Because every time this guy steps off the bus, he tears an ankle. He's always hurt. Played 3 games, 13 games, 16 games, 15, 15, 16, 10. He's put together 1 season in his entire career healthy. And he's getting older. I just can't do it at age 29 with this guy. I know he gets Aaron Rodgers, so I'm super high on Aaron Rodgers for a bounce back, but it's going to be the Garrett Wilson show all the way. I mean, they bring in Malachi Corley, handpicked by A-Rod. I get all that. Breece Hall in the backfield, offensive line upgrade. Everything is there to look good. But if I'm looking at ADP 136 right now, and I have a chance to see Mike Williams on the board, I'm just Xing him out 100%. If I see a player like Jerry Jeudy or Joshua Palmer next to him, I'm smashing that value all the way. And Jerry Jeudy's enticing out of the slot, but I'm not like super high on him. I'd rather have Josh Palmer by a mile in this situation. He has the chemistry with Herbert. Herbert, younger, healthier, no 40-year-old injury risk as well at quarterback, which does scare me with Aaron Rodgers. But I firmly believe that healthy Aaron Rodgers, this is going to be a Garrett Wilson skyrocket top 5 wide receiver season if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. And that's one of the main factors. You have to double if here with the Jets. You have to double if a 40-year-old off a torn Achilles is going to hold, and Mike Williams, who's never healthy, is going to hold. 2 terrible bugaboos to have right there in fantasy football, and one guy that I'm avoiding no matter what. Like my other guys are at ADP. This one I'm avoiding no matter what. So much better value to be had. Easy pass on Mike Williams. Wide receiver number 9, Quentin Johnston. I truly believe that his ADP is going to keep dropping either way after the update of he's going to be not even in the rotation once DJ Shark is back healthy. So yeah, you'll see some camp updates right now where Quentin Johnston's making catches. Don't buy into it. All right, his current ADP is 136, right around the same area as Mike Williams, like I was saying. And it's just absolutely baffling to me what do I want to say here? I want to say it like the hype profile, his regimen, body size, speed, all that gets people excited. I know that the Chargers lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams, but they brought in Lab McConkey, Joshua Palmer, and DJ Shark. And this guy's drop rate is through the roof. If you've ever looked at his reception, perception, route running, he's one of the worst in the NFL. I mean, the upside, and like if you're playing best ball, yeah, take a shot deep. You're probably getting him around 15, 16. But the upside is not going to be there. You just have to lock this guy out of your roster. Stop even keeping him in your queue. Don't star him. Nothing, because even if injuries happen, he doesn't even shine. Keenan Allen misses a couple games, he does nothing. It's just inevitable. All the writing is on the wall, but yet people still want to believe that this guy's going to pop off. And the wide receiver that is right next to him, who I would rather have by a mile in value, you have Pop Douglas and you have Dontavian Wicks. And Dontavian Wicks, I'm calling a massive breakout for the Packers. Like if you listen to Christian Watson's side, I don't like Christian Watson at all. I think Dontavian Wicks is going to emerge at better value. But if you can also get Pop Douglas, I know he's very small, but he's going to be the electric playmaker for the Patriots. I'd rather have that 100% in it. And like people say, you think John Harbaugh, they're going to ground and pound the run. I don't fully buy the Chargers ground and pound the run game. You got to be winning to ground and pound the run. I don't see the Chargers winning that many games. It could be more of a pass effect than you think. But Quentin Johnston is an absolute fade no matter what for me this season. And last, but very much the least, wide receiver 10 is Gabe Davis. I don't understand why people keep falling for this no matter what. Again, if it's best ball, I'm willing to take a shot late in drafts. Yes. In redraft, how can you want a guy who had a 1 point game, a 1 point game, a 0 point game, a 0 point game, a 0 point game, a 0 point game? Yeah, he had 2 blow up games, right? Of course, he's going to catch a deep bomb every now and then. But the inconsistency, lack of volume, they wouldn't have brought in Brian Thomas Jr. out of the draft if they firmly believed in Gabe Davis, right? It's just Christian Kirk is going to be the guy there. He's going to see the most volume. I think Gabe Davis he might even lose the job to Parker Washington, to me, honestly, midway through the season, because Parker Washington looks so good in camp right now. This guy, absolute, do not draft this man at his value. Currently going off the board at ADP 142. The wide receiver value around him is so much better. It's crazy. Like I said, let's throw a different guy in here. Let's go Jahan Dotson, one of the best route runners according to reception perception. Didn't get a lot of volume last season because Commanders O-line, Sam Howell, the most sacked quarterback, running for his life. I know all that. Now they bring in JD5, going to be able to move the pocket a little bit. Or I'd rather even take a shot on Rashid Shaheed, taking over the number 2 role, possible double dip, kick return, punt return value, instead of a guy that's going to be number 3 and fades from games. I mean, it seems like he doesn't even try some games. He's just out there walking around, half running. Gabe Davis, to me, you should not be drafting at all, no matter what. I would even say Brandon Cooks at this range is better value than him. So I am 100% staying away from Gabe Davis, and you should be as well. If you want the truth, I don't even want this guy in Dynasty. I'd be trying to sell him as much as I can. I believe it's firmly coming to an end, and I can't get my head around why people still draft this guy. Thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of episode 9. Those are my 10 wide receivers that I am 100% not targeting at value. I firmly believe the information that I dropped is going to be better information on wide receivers that you should be drafting in that area to win your leagues. And as always, guys, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, and I'm always streaming drafts on YouTube. I'm always live on YouTube doing shows, etc. sleezballff. This is my 9th episode, so I'm getting better at podcasting slowly here. But I'm loving the responses I'm getting from you guys and everything, all the comments, everything. It's been amazing. And I'm just trying to help you be the best that you can be at fantasy football. And I hope you guys support me in the process, and I'll catch you in the next episode, man.